Hi, folks, and welcome to the Knightrider podcast. It is February 7, 2020, and we are in the Holyoke Public Schools Media Center. My name is Mr. Brew. I'm the faculty advisor for the Holyoke High School Herald, and we have two special guests here from Holyoke Public Schools.
Hi, my name is Curran. I'm the manager of recruitment for the Holyoke Public Schools.
And my name is Beth Gage. I'm the Chief Talent Officer for Holyoke Public Schools.
Morning, y'all. I'm Edwin, and I'm a junior here at Holyoke High School.
I'm Isaac Caponte. I'm a junior, and I'm a podcast editor. I write the topics we talk about.
And we'd like to welcome our guests, Kelly and Beth. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Glad to have you here. We want to talk to you about teacher diversification today and why it's important for Holyoke Public Schools. Any thoughts to start us off before we hand it off to our students?
Yeah, I think there's more and more research coming out that just indicates, like for example, one of the ones we reference a lot is that if a Black male student has a Black educator between the grades of 3 and 5, they're more likely to graduate. And then additionally, if they have two Black educators in those years, then they're 30% more likely to enroll in college as well. And I think there's more and more studies coming out that reinforce that. And it's just important for our students to have mirrors into what their potential is and see themselves reflected in our staff, including teachers and leadership, I'll add.
Excellent, excellent. So our students, any thoughts, any questions?
I think diversity is a very important thing to have in like any type of community, like especially in like a work type place, because it just makes more people feel included. You have people who just feel better, being in that environment. They like to stay there more because they feel like included, just having other people like them.
Agreed.
What is that? I'm curious, what is the process in which, hiring a teacher that you feel would, fit a diverse, class or, to make a class feel more diverse?
Mm-hmm. So I think number one, what we look at is kind of some of the barriers that potential candidates of color face. And we try to eliminate those barriers for the candidate. And that I don't think we ever, in our interviewing process, compromise our quality that we're looking for. But we really try to give them the opportunity to get in front of us and make sure that we don't have barriers in our hiring process and things of that nature.
And what are these barriers?
Yeah, so some of the big ones that we've identified, we've done a lot of work with a group called the Paradigm Shift, and Kelly, feel free to chime in with anything that you have to add, but finance is a huge one for many, many people. So we've really been working to try to make more accessible education to candidates of color. We've been focusing a lot on our paraprofessional group, who more closely mirror our student population in race and ethnicity, and they're more likely to live here in Holyoke. So those are important factors in this work. So it is a group that we're targeting along with our current students so that we can better promote it. What would you say are some of the other top challenges, Kelly?
So the MTEL is one of the biggest. It's a Massachusetts teacher educational licensure test, and people of color are less likely to pass and retake it again if they fail. So studies show white teachers or white teacher candidates will take it over and over again, but a person of color will get more discouraged and not pass. A white teacher candidates pass at a higher rate than candidates of color.
Yeah. And Kel, can you talk about some of the work we've done to address that challenge?
Yeah, so like Beth said, through the Paradigm Shift, we offer MTEL support classes. We offer one-on-one tutoring, and also MTEL reimbursement fees because they can get costly. So we want to encourage teachers to take them over and over until they do pass it. So we reimburse them for taking the test.
Are some of these teachers from the community or out of the community?
Yeah, so a lot of them are from the surrounding community, but mostly from Holyoke.
Good.
So Isaac and Edwin, what do you think that would do for you as students? How would that impact you if you had more teachers that were similar to your backgrounds? I know everyone here comes from different backgrounds. What would that do to affect your learning? Because I think that's really the goal here, is to help your learning and to allow you to be better in school. What would that do for you personally?
Like,
You want me to start? Or you
yeah, you go first. Yeah.
For me, I would say, like, considering that the majority of my life I've been surrounded by white teachers, you know, and like just recognizing my identity and who I am as like a Latino male, like it would be nice to like be able to like have a teacher I can relate to, you know, and have similar backgrounds we can share, to be able to have a class in which like, you know, we can have like, and like we can share similar stories, we can be aware that like we have similar backgrounds too, you know. Yeah, just a class that feels more diverse and like have a more diverse class, you know.
It's always good to have like a teacher that you can just like relate to the most, because those are the teachers that you're going to remember. Those are the teachers that you're going to kind of like, in a sense, respect more, I guess. Like you just kind of relate to them more. Just, you know, they're a good teacher. Like they have their subject that they teach. You'll be like more attached to that subject and be like, oh, this is actually something good. Like this is a really good tool I can use in life. And like when you have that connection to like a person that's just like teaching that subject, it just kind of opens a gateway to stuff like that. You get more open to things like that.
Right. Would having a teacher with a similar background make you want to be a teacher, or, you know,
I think it would,
peers want to be teachers?
I think it would definitely like put the option in your head, because there's like there's still like a lot of students or just people just like they're like, I don't really know about teachers, you know, I don't really know. I think part of it is also just they see a lot of the same type of teacher that isn't from their background.
Right.
If you have teachers who are from students' backgrounds, show like, oh, hey, I can be a teacher. This person's the same background. I can also be a teacher if I chose to.
Right.
I guess we're not saying it to like disregard like white teachers or like,
Right.
you know.
Absolutely.
It's just like this is something we feel, and like the majority of people in this high school are people of color, so it's like.
It's good to have just more diverse background when it comes to just an environment. Makes more people feel included.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for your thoughts and your honesty, Edwin and Isaac. We really appreciate it. Do you have any questions for Kelly and Beth while they're here, other than what you've already asked?
Let's see.
I do.
Excellent.
What made you want to come to our podcast, actually?
This is an interesting one.
Yeah, so I'll speak for myself first. So this is the piece of my job that I get most excited about, and it's really rewarding for me, and I truly believe that this is one of the pieces that is going to move this district forward, and just raise the bar for all of our students and improve the success overall of our students, and hopefully get more students to come back and teach in the community that they grew up in. So I think spreading the word about it, we've learned, especially through this past year, that maybe we haven't done enough to spread the word about all the efforts we have going on in the district to diversify our staff. And we're seeing some really good results by just talking about it more frequently with our stakeholders, including like our principals, our students, our other staff members, setting up information sessions. So yeah, it's really just to get the information out there and know that there are things that we can do to help people enter into the profession.
And I'm also excited about it. When Beth brought up the idea, I was like, yes, because we need more teachers, and the students, you guys are our future of Holyoke, so we have to start with you guys.
Thank you for choosing our humble little podcast to start here. I think it is a really good way to start. You know, you start with an environment that does have both. You have a teacher, you have students. It's a good way to get your message across first to us, and then therefore other people. Yeah.
You got any questions?
Anything else, Isaac?
I have one question, because the other two kind of got answered.
Absolutely.
So that,
It's your
there we
show. Go for it.
Thank you. This is something that
Don't take that to your head.
I just realized like I didn't catch that.
Here now.
Just feel the ego.
Oh, no. Oh god,
You're gonna be
I'm running on like
Yeah, I
3.5
will.
hours of sleep. Yeah, this is a question I talked about before of like other teachers before. It's one that interests me. Holyoke High has had a lot of teachers kind of come and go, and to me, especially in like the math department, that's when I've seen a lot. So I was curious, like, how do you like plan to combat that at all? Like, do you have like a plan to see if like to like target that demographic to try to fix that a bit?
Yeah, so a lot of the pipelines that we do have set up, I'll name just some, I'm not gonna name all of them, but I'll name some of our biggest pipelines that we've built. So we are partnered with Mount Holyoke for a program called Urban Teacher Pathway. And then we have a Teach Western Mass residency program. Those are probably our two biggest pipelines right now, and they really are targeted towards critical shortage areas. So nationally, we see a shortage in math, science, special education, and ESL. Did I forget one? No. So those are really our focus in a lot of our pipelines. We are looking, like, we're building those out as well. Like, for example, the UTP, you can also do an add-on license to a critical shortage area so that you do have options, and you actually end up with dual certification. So I will say, like, for starters, like, it's a national problem, particularly in the math and science, which you spoke
it is just
to.
in general.
In general, but I think, I think we're hit even harder here in Western Massachusetts, and Holyoke feels that very much. So in the diversification work, we're really trying to address two problems at the same time, which is the diversity of our staff and the critical shortage in those areas.
They do seem to be tied at the hip a bit. I feel like targeting like diversity, that can like snowball into a lot of other better things. I think that being one of them. So I do think that that is a good core thing to focus on, and then therefore you go on to the things like that you need help with in the district.
Agreed.
Can I ask one more question?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What would you like to see in a teacher that we recruit?
It's a great question.
I'm not used to getting questions myself. I think my preferred thing as a teacher is just someone you see more as like a person, because you have this in every type of job, type of workplace. You have like people who are like very professional with their job, and sometimes, especially as a student, you kind of see them more as like, oh yes, as a teacher, and sometimes just kind of less as a regular person.
Right.
Like I like thrive and like live for like just like people who are just people, like I can see myself in them, and like I get more attached to them. And having teachers that are like just more casual with certain things, you can just tell that they're just a person, and you just get more attached to them, and therefore you get attached to their subject. Having a good teacher, having a teacher can affect that subject. So say you don't really have you have bad memories with say a specific teacher, and like a subject, you might not like that subject much. So having one that you can relate to, having one that you just see as a casual person is just very good to have, and especially in the core subjects.
So relating to them and having a connection will make you be interested in learning, and you'll retain that information.
Very much. Like I've had, especially like we have a really good history like department here. I used to just really not like that as much. Then I came here, and then I grew a lot attached to the teachers. They're really nice guys. They're really nice people. And I retain a lot of the information that probably more than my other classes. Yeah.
I would say for me, I guess it would have to be how the teacher approaches me too, and not only me, but like the class as well. Because if a teacher were to approach with being aware that like they have all this power as a teacher, and like they get to boss you around and like tell you like, okay, this is what you have to do, and that's it. That's your goal. Like just pass my class. It's like, because it's you want to be treated how like you treat others. You know what I mean? So it's like if a teacher expresses himself in a way where it's like he treats you like in a negative way, then obviously the student's going to respond in a negative way, and then all of a sudden there's a consequence between the two teachers, the teacher and the student. So maybe a teacher in which like I can respect and the teacher respects me back, a teacher that I know I can rely on, a teacher that I know that like when I'm having trouble in like a class, you know, I have a reliable teacher. Yeah, teacher I can relate to as well, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So trust.
Excellent. Thanks so much for your thoughts.
Yes, thank
I really
you.
appreciate it.
Sorry, I don't want to take over.
Not at all, not at all. Anything else before we end? We really appreciate you coming on the podcast. Anything else you want to add before we go?
We can talk, I don't know if you guys are interested in a little bit of the data, but.
Oh, you have
so-
some?
I'm
We-
curious.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering what you were holding.
So, we
Yeah.
did bring it with us.
Okay.
We're happy to actually even leave it with you all as
we'll
public
analyze it.
information. But, you know, so not to say we are where we need to be, but like some of this pipeline work, I can talk about like kind of how it's evolved too, is like, I think our first few years, Kelly and I came around the same time into this department. So we started this work in school year 15-16, at which time we had about 13% of our teachers were identified as people of color. At the start of this school year, we were up to about 22%. So we're gaining momentum, but obviously knowing like our student population is much closer to 80% students of color, we need to do better, right? So like this needs to
it's
keep
a good start.
building and growing, yeah. So anything we can do or you guys can do to help us rally up some teachers, get your fellow students interested in teaching and pushing the work along. I don't know if you guys are aware, but last year we did start a Future Teachers Club.
Signing
Yeah, and so we had like a signing day to try to get some hype around it and change the negative narrative around teaching because it is a really rewarding profession. And then this year we're really working with UMass to expand that Future Teachers
Yes.
Club and design something that is more aligned to like the state standards and getting people ahead of the game, right? So that they don't feel so overwhelmed when they're entering into the profession because teaching is hard, right?
It really is.
Yeah, so the more we can do to build confidence, the better off we'll be as a district. Yeah, and we can leave these with you guys
Excellent.
if you want to
Yeah,
take a
thank
look
you
at
so
them.
It'll be
much.
interesting to
Yeah.
look at that.
Well, we really appreciate having you on the podcast. Thanks so much for coming. And we touched on this at the end of last podcast, but please send our best to Dr. Zreich. We're really excited
will.
for him. We're sad that he's leaving, but excited for him at the
Same.
same time. You know, it's
Yes.
a happy, sad moment, but he and your team have done a lot of great work in the last 5 years.
Yes.
I came in when he came in and when you both came in. So it's for me personally, it's really special to have that like one-on-one support. I just talked to him last week in the community, and I've been in other districts and I never had that opportunity to actually, talk to my superintendent, on a one-on-one
Yeah.
basis, so often. So
Yeah.
we're excited for him. We send our best, and we're really
Great.
we're really sad and happy for him at the same
Yeah.
time. So thank you for all your work you've done over the past 5 years.
Thank you.
And we look forward to having you on in the future.
Thank you. We're excited to come back.
That'll be good.
So we will take a short break, and we will be right back, and we'll talk about more things going on at Holyoke High School. And welcome back to the Knightrider podcast. We have two new guests who are usually behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They're part of the Herald. Andy and Kenny, want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Andy. I work for the Herald, and I'm one of the cameramen for the podcast.
I'm Kenneth. I work for the Herald. I'm the YouTube editor, and I also work for the Holyoke Media Center as a videographer/editor.
Slash, you do everything, yeah.
Like
A little bit of everything.
You have
with
to
Mr.
these
Hines,
days.
yeah. We have some topics we want to discuss now, and we want to talk about recent events here at Holyoke High School. What's going on here at Holyoke High, gentlemen?
Aaron Vega's coming today.
Oh, yeah.
Um, pretty sure around 10:30 maybe.
Yep, I think you have
Yeah, and
somewhere
I'll-
that you need to be at 10:30.
Yeah, I'm gonna be over there. I guess interviewing, writing notes, make a story about why Aaron Vega's here.
It's great to have someone from the Massachusetts State Legislature here, so thank you to State Representative Aaron Vega for coming out here and supporting our high school as he has many times in the past. We certainly appreciate it.
Yeah. Something I always like to point out, because it's just a fun topic I like to talk about on the show. Schedule has been very weird lately.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, going into first year here. Just yesterday, we had a 2-hour delay. Schedule was all kind of wonky. Yeah, it was pretty weird. Like, what do you guys believe, like,
I
lately?
want to talk about that if I can.
Yeah.
Do you have something to say?
I feel like they should have it planned in advance. Not even if they know there's going to be some sort of delay, just, just have it there, just in case if a 2-hour delay does happen.
Oh, like
Yeah, I
a
see.
procedure,
Not just
like,
come up with it like the night before in
Yeah,
the morning.
because the weather's on there, so they should have like a backup plan. Like if we have to delay school, this is
Yeah.
what the schedule is going to be, and announce
Yeah.
it the day before. And if we don't, it's normal
Like,
schedule.
I can see, like, why we, like, sometimes they do have to just, like, make the stuff, like, you have to just do it, like, on the spot, because that's just how things are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and nice to have a little bit of consistency, at least with, like, the 2-hour delays. Like, sometimes the weather you just can't, especially here in New England.
Yeah.
We do not have consistent weather, by all means.
At all.
Have you
Yeah,
seen
it's-
yesterday? It was like
It's
full of
February,
ice,
and
like-
then we have like an ice storm in February. That's always
Right.
Yeah, the weather
And-
here is really, really bipolar.
Huge blizzard in October. I think there was
Oh, yeah.
one year we had, actually, no, it wasn't in New England. It was near New England. We had a tornado in June and a hurricane in August. The
yeah.
same
And
year.
then we'll have beach wet weather next weekend. And
Yeah.
a snowstorm the day
Remember
after.
that?
Yeah.
Weren't you very young when that happened?
I was
That's
in
2011, right?
Oh yeah, I was in middle
Around
school.
there,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god, very funny timings for that though. Like especially with my family, because day of the tornado, we're gonna go out to celebrate my mom's birthday, and day of the hurricane that year, we were gonna celebrate my and my twin's birthday. So it's just very funny with the timings. We have a lot of jokes about that. Oh god,
Can't control the weather.
you cannot control.
Can't
the
wait to
weather.
see what
But what
happens
you
on your
can
dad's
control
birthday.
is
Yeah, we're gonna find out.
what you can control is the schedule, though. I want to get your thoughts on the schedule because it was a very different schedule yesterday. It
Yeah.
was, I think, 30 or 35-minute classes.
37 minutes.
Oh,
For,
37. Okay.
37 minutes for each class. We still have the dropout and the dropout schedule. And for lunch, it was 27 minutes per, but like the whole class itself was like a little over an hour.
Yeah, but each block was, you said, 37 minutes.
Each block was
Yeah.
37 minutes. The lunch, actually, I'm not sure if that's actually true, if each lunch block was 27, because it felt definitely longer, but that might have just been me.
Well, what I want to know as a teacher, because obviously we care about our students and what they think. We want to get their input. That's been one of HPS's goals over the last 5 years, and I think they've done a really good job with that, with student voice. So I want to give you that opportunity right now. Was that better for you, the 37 minutes for class, as opposed to the normal 55? It's obviously very different. Okay, so
It's
I just
pretty-
want to know your thoughts and what works better for you.
It's pretty different, and
students.
I believe before 2-hour delays, like we would only have like half of our classes, and like I'm not sure if I'm remembering that right, but like we just kind of like had free classes and it would be the full time, but that was it. I prefer this because you still have a little bit of each in your classes, and while you can't really go in depth with like the lesson that was originally planned, you can still set up for the next time you do it. So I just think like the schedule we had yesterday, that was probably a better 2-hour delay schedule. That's just me.
But is
Yeah.
it 37-minute class time better or worse for you than the 55 minutes, I believe we
Yeah,
normally
how do you
have?
feel if that was like the main schedule for every day? How would
Main
that
schedule.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I would be like,
curious.
oh,
Like, did it feel too
know.
rushed, or did it feel like you were able to pay attention more because it was a shorter amount of time? Like,
It-
that's what I'm curious
it
about.
felt like, obviously, it did felt like pretty rushed. I guess
Okay.
mostly just
Yeah.
compared, but
Okay.
I preferred to have a little bit of each in my class than like have longer classes, but they're only like, say, your A, B, and C, which I believe we have done that before, 2 hours delay. Because with that, like, a class that you're originally going to have on that day, say you're going to have a project, so you're going to have a project on that day, and like, oh, you don't have that class anymore. At least when you have a smaller time for that, you can at least told like, okay, we can't do the project day, but we can help set up for it. We'll get you ready for the next day. I think it's just better in general because you at least have something you can do there in that class.
Okay, great. Anyone else have a thought?
For
I mean-
me, I'll say like it was pretty rushed. I did
Okay.
see some of the teachers struggle to like try and get their class.
Oh,
like,
it's different. Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
different.
like
yeah.
it was all unexpected too. It's like, okay, how am I gonna like present what I'm gonna teach the class in like this short amount
In
of
this time.
And
Yeah.
then like
That's different.
when they attempt, then there's like students like participating or like trying to get their attention, which also
Yeah.
adds on to the time, which then I can imagine stresses them out even more. And it's like, okay, I can barely even do this one subject,
Mm.
or trying to get the point straight for like the next day because like this unexpected 2-hour delay.
Mm.
And also,
Yeah.
another thing to mention is like the dean's schedule too. Like we came here today at like yesterday at like 10 o'clock, right? Dean was like 9:45, and then like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
last few blocks were the longest ones. So like
Yeah.
I don't know, that was a pretty confusing one too. At least for me, it's like they had like such a long class. It's like okay. Well.
Yeah, thank you. Andy, Kenny, any thoughts? Comments?
I feel
About
that yesterday would have been like a bad example of like that being a permanent schedule because
I know what you mean.
because on
Yeah,
half
right.
days that's kind of the day where everyone's like, oh well, it's a half day, so they don't really treat it like a school day. They just kind of mess
Yeah.
around. So
Yeah.
a teacher wouldn't be able to really control a 30-minute class on a day like that where all the students are just like, I'm just going to come.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Just to be here.
And they didn't even show up yesterday too. I can imagine like the majority of students didn't even show up because it was a 2-hour delay, or because of like the ice too. It must have been like a struggle trying to like go
For like a
through
lot
that
of
ice.
people who
I
want
spoke to a lot of
School,
students
definitely.
that were really struggling to get their windshields ready
So
for
hopefully,
to
like-
drive in. Yeah, it wasn't easy.
Yeah, hopefully like this
Was
like
not
2-hour
easy.
delay thing doesn't affect them like that, because like then again we can't really control the weather,
Yeah.
and
No.
depending our area too. I don't know, maybe like those students who weren't here because of that can have that little break that's like that like doesn't get them stressed for like for missing a day. You know what I mean? So it's like
Thank you. Let's end with a happy topic, Valentine's Day.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
You have
oh boy.
thoughts,
Yikes.
plans?
Yeah.
don't know. Probably sleep.
Probably.
That's my Valentine. My bad.
The last thing that I remember about Valentine's Day being a thing was like when we were little kids in like elementary
Yeah.
school.
That was the best,
And we all
wasn't
got
it?
like the
Yeah.
little
That
cards
was
that
so
we like
nostalgic.
just handed a card out to everyone in the
Yeah.
class
Yeah.
with like
Great.
a thing of candy
Random
on it.
people. He had like one of those tiny little like lollipops in the shape of a heart.
Yeah, and just like a
Yeah.
bunch of cards, and you
Yeah.
Cards, yeah.
decorated them with your parents like the days before, and
That
then
was
just
so
handed them
nice.
out to the class.
People be going like out of their way, like at least some of the parents are like the students. Like I'd be seeing like, at least for me, like I'd be seeing kids bring all of us like bags of candy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these custom cards, and it's like whoa. Like as a kid, I could be like that. I
Like
can
that just blows your mind. Just like, what? Yeah. It'd be funny if we did that stuff high school.
It would
Right.
be awkward.
It would be very awkward, but I feel like we can also have a little more fun with it because humor's matured a bit. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enjoy these times while you can with the bags of candy, because when you get a little bit older on Valentine's Day
Yeah.
and you're bringing a special someone out to dinner,
Mhm.
it's a little bit more than a bag of candy
Yeah,
that you have to pay
exactly.
Yeah.
for. All right, so enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah.
Hi, Kylie. All right, thanks so much for coming on the show. Gentlemen, we appreciate having you. And thanks so much for watching on the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, ring that bell for notifications, like it, do all those things, comment, everything that you can do on YouTube. We really appreciate you watching. Have a great day. Take care.